After spending the whole year so far sick, I've been out of commission for a little bit, but I'm finally okay enough and collected some gameplay. So today we're finally looking at another deck. Today we're going to be playing Spellboost Rune. Thanks to the inclusion of Ara, we can finally play a more tempo-oriented Spellboost, which is what I wanted to play. I wasn't interested in playing the Cocytus version, so now that we have a tempo version that we can play, that's what we're doing. So let's look at the deck list we're playing for today first. So this list we're playing for today, it's not original list, I got it from Para-chan. I will link his video in the description. He's a Japanese pro player who plays a lot of Rune as well. So yeah, the basic idea of this list is just to spend your early turn spell boosting so you can discount stuff like Haikumaster and your Blaze Destroyer, and of course your Ara as well, and the Demonic Call to set up massive boards in the mid game to pressure your opponent down to 0. Or if you can't do that and you have play long game, you have Decline plus a cooldown to sort of sustain in the long game. But yeah, generally the idea is to pressure in the mid game, so that's how this deck works. This is the list. Pretty standard stuff. I guess the only really new card here is Ara and the Haikumaster, but these are pretty solid cards. So yeah, this deck takes a bit of getting used to play properly, and I definitely don't play it at a high level, but I have some gameplay for you that shows how the deck works, so hopefully that can help you if you are interested in trying this deck out yourself. So let's look at the games I have for you today. Our first match here is against Portal, and we are going first. This is pretty solid hand. We have a Demonic Call to help answer early game. We have a bunch of spell boosts, and we have Homework Time to draw, as well as Ara, which is generally quite strong to keep early on. The mulligan is a bit difficult for this deck. Usually you want to keep stuff like Homework Time or Seraphic Tidings to draw more cards. Insight is quite good to get out of your deck, so when you play Decline it will not be in your deck, so that's why we keep Insight there. Ara is generally very good both for answering board as well as pressuring face because of him being able to get you the Regal Falcon. And Demonic Call is just to help out with the early aggression from Portal. The other card you definitely want to look for in the mulligan though is Ara and Haikumaster. I just happened to open a pretty strong hand this time, but generally you do want to be looking for Ara and Haikumaster because it is one of the keys to surviving, handling the mid game with this deck. There's a Puppet Lancer. As the War of Games, we still don't know what deck this is from my opponent, but we just go ahead and draw into our deck. We want to draw first so that we can maximize our spell boost. The most important rule for playing this deck, always click this button. This button is very important for playing this deck. Just keep track of how many spell boosts you have. It is a very good habit to have when playing spell boost decks in general, and this one is no exception. We have two Ara and Haikumaster here, which is good, so we can toss our Miss Miranda here because we're likely going to be playing Ara and Haikumaster for the next 2 turns. And there's Imari from my opponent, the bane of everyone's existence right now. Just able to set up very big boards for very little investment. These are the Light of the Dewdrops from my opponent, which will go ahead and summon a bunch of her little friends, which makes a very annoying board that we have to deal with here. Go ahead and just drop Ara and Haikumaster. And we use Demonic Call as well to fully answer the board here, as well as set our own to make it difficult for them to get away with playing Lishana in case this is Destruction. We don't quite know, they haven't played a single card that tells us which deck it is yet, so we just play in case it's Destruction. There's another War of Games and another Puppet Lancer. We still don't know, but it's either a Portal, it's either Puppet or it's a Bricked Egg. Either way, we should play with its Puppet, because if it's a Bricked Egg, we should be fine to win the game either way, so yeah. Now that we have a bunch of stuff discounted, we can go ahead and play the Ara and Haikumaster here and then hide a bunch of followers behind the ward of the end summoning. It can be tempting to transform the end summoning with the Ara here because it'll turn it into a permanent follower instead of a temporary one, but generally keeping the ward is quite good for maintaining these like massive followers. There's another Imari, and they will go ahead and super evolve that one to draw more spells. At this point we can be fairly certain this is not Distraction because of the lack of oh yeah, that's Puppet Cat, so yeah, this is definitely Puppet. But yeah, the lack of egg spells after playing 2 Imaris definitely hints that it's not gonna be a destruction. Or Lishana. Opponent will go ahead and use Imari, and they managed to almost full clear this board, which is quite insane. But we have continuation with the D-shift, so I mean D-climb, sorry. Generally D-climb is something you want to look for if you are playing a matchup that can answer your boards fairly well, which is mainly Portal and Dragon. And we go ahead and just punch them in the face here, keep up the pressure. It's a bit dangerous to be running low on evil points because we need them to finish the game most of the time, but you know, hopefully that won't come up. Opponent draws Zwei here, which is fine. I can go ahead and clear my board here. Quite wild they can still keep up with these boards, but you know, we have a lot of continuation with D-climb and the Blaze Destroyer, so we are not too worried. Start by drawing into our deck and spell boosting cards. Try to discount this Ara because it might come in handy. Go ahead and use the Storm Blast to get rid of these followers, and then we can just drop the Blaze Destroyer because it's not that good to draw off a D-climb, and then we can just drop the D-climb now. So the idea is with these resources, we should be able to handle an Orcus board, and after that they should be out of gas, assuming they have Orcus in hand, of course. But we just end up drawing lethal, so I guess we can do that instead. So just go ahead and use Ogre Cat here, or Odin. And then play the Ara to transform something into a 4/4 Storm Falcon for lethal. So yeah, this is the classic game plan, I guess, for this kind of tempo deck. Let's look at another game. So our next match here is against Dragon, another one of the more popular classes. Unfortunately, this game, the quality isn't super amazing because I didn't run into that many dragons, and the few that I run into either super high roll or super low roll. So this was the best game that I could come up with for as far as replays go. So you sort of have to bear with me there. Again, quick show spell boost. In this case though, our hand is super bad right now with no early spell boost cards. We can hopefully draw into them with a Seraphic Tidings and Radiant Rainbow, but for now this hand is quite bad with no followers to discount. I'll go ahead and discount Homework Time. In this case we have Seraphic Tidings, so we are likely to be able to play Homework Time after transforming it into Looking Smart. Otherwise, if you're expecting to play Homework Time on turn 3 anyway, you just hit another card with the Rainbow, but in this case we do want to hit Homework Time, so... Opponent drops Phylene, that's good for us. We don't want them to play Phylene in the late game because Phylene is a major pain for this deck because it can just answer our boards for very cheap. So the fact that they're spending Phylene here is very good for us. Jellyfish Dancer into Ocean Rider, so they are setting up some tempo on board here, which is quite annoying, but nothing this deck isn't used to. That is a misplay. You should play Foresight first to draw first because you can see I missed one spell boost on the Siege Climb here because of that. We go ahead and evolve Miss Miranda here to spell boost our hand. Then we can play with the Haiku just to draw cards and just put a little bit of pressure. I'd rather look at the top deck than keep this at 0 cost, so that's why I played it there. You can consider saving it for a pretty big board, but right now we have nothing to sell a board with anyway, so that's not super high of priority, and getting the spell boost is actually pretty useful right now, so we do go ahead and play it there. Here we go ahead and spell boost the Blaze Destroyer to try and put it down this turn, which we should be able to do. I think we go ahead and draw Looking Smart, great as well. Drop the Haiku, the Demonic Call. I should have played Blaze Destroyer here. I think it makes it harder to drop Fennie for free. Against Dragon right now, Fennie is the most popular, I think, so you do want to play around making the board too free to drop Fennie in. So in this case, I probably should have played Blaze Destroyer, so even if they want to play Fennie here, they would at least have to spend their evil point to trade, which would cost them resources while not spending any of my own. So bit of a misplay on my part there. We go ahead and coin out the Tuon here. We don't want to give them time to slowly draw through their deck, so we try to put under pressure here with a coin Kuon. We do have a D-shift for D-climb, sorry, for a continuation. I guess, so to recover resources after we vomit out this hand, so we're not super worried on that front. Opponent drops Neptune. Thankfully they are not drawing, so even though they didn't manage to play the Fennie here, they only have one half-cost card in their hand right now, which should be pretty good for me, hopefully. You can see most of my board just goes down to Neptune, but that's fine. We can at least get some pressure on with this Demonic Shikigami. I try to look for cards to keep out the pressure wave, so we just drop the Miss Miranda here, drop the Blaze Destroyer, Ara. At this point we can be fairly certain they don't have Phylene just because they didn't use it last turn. And then we go ahead and evolve the Ara here. So now that we are fairly certain they don't have Phylene, we can go ahead and try to put up the pressure here. Unfortunately, my opponent drops Urns here, which is one of the two cards they have discounted, and then they have Willness as well for a full clear, while sending out a pretty annoying board on their side. Let it be known, this is the two cards they drew after Fennie's playing Fennie, by the way. They drew two cards and it's these two. So, a bit unfortunate maybe on my end here, but it's fine. Go ahead and use Augury Cap to get rid of the Willness here. Unfortunately, we are one spell boost shot of killing the Urns here. So we can go ahead and toss our hand with Decline. Try to find a new hand. Pretty decent hand here. Using the Ara to clear this Urns is a bit questionable. Maybe it's not like... It is a bit of overkill, but you know, not recommending better to do in hand. We could trade up with the end summoning maybe, but Genesis Dragon plus Alpha could kill me from there, so having the war is pretty important, I think. And here my opponent runs out of resources, so they just end up conceding, I think. Yeah. And our last match for today is against Haven. Odd Haven, Cookie Shiro, Haven, whatever you want to call it, seems to be the most popular variant right now, so that's what we expect. And we just keep Foresights. No reason not to keep Foresight, really. Actually, there was an argument for not playing Foresight there and keeping it for turn 2 since I don't have a better turn 2 play anyway. If I kept the Foresight for this turn, I would have had one more spell boost on Decline. So arguably it's better to pass turn 1 there, but you know, if I drew the rainbow off of the Foresight, then that might change things, so you know, who knows really. We go ahead and just keep drawing into our deck. My opponent isn't really doing much right now. They drew the True to hit me in the face, so this is definitely Odd Haven, or maybe some kind of weird Storm Haven, but most likely it's gonna be Odd. I will go ahead and just like cut down on damage by just playing one of the Shikigami. We have a lot of discounted followers plus 2 declines in our hand right now, so it is not that bad for us to just go a bit aggressive here. We have the chance to play End Engrave, but we rather pair that with like some other followers, so we just go ahead and play the Shikigami and just pass and play a bit slow here. My opponent doesn't call in Wilbert, so either they're not running Wilbert or they don't have it, either way. No Wilbert is always good for us. So now we have a bunch of discounted cards, so now it is time to set up a nice big board. It lines up with that Cookie Shiro turn as well, which is very good. Against Cookie Shiro, Bishop, against Odd Haven, the main line of play is set up on the right before the Cookie Shiro turn to make it very hard to play Cookie Shiro for free. Especially if they don't have a Grimnir. So there is Cookie Shiro, they will go ahead and play it as well. And then go ahead and throw their hand away. They go ahead and evolve the Holy Falcon here, I guess, to clear one of my followers. Which makes sense. They could have cleared this with Super Evil, but it's probably not really worth sinking a Super Evil into there, I guess, from their point of view. But unfortunately for them, I think they are not in good shape this turn. We'll just go ahead and play some cards to draw into our deck. We can play the Haikumaster just to have a body to transform with Ara here. Just Stormblast to get rid of the last one. Let me go ahead and Super Evolve Ara to transform this Haikumaster into the Falcon. Haikumaster's main job in this deck, honestly, is just to get transformed into a Falcon, so that is what we do. I'll drop the World of Games here as well as a Celefa. Unfortunately for them, they don't have Grimnir, so they can't quite full clear this bar with Celefa. But they do manage to almost full clear. They leave one alive here. It doesn't really matter because Kuan would have been lethal anyway, but I guess since we have this Falcon alive, we can just take the shortest route, which is just the super evolve the Falcon for a quick game here. So that's it for this game. So those are all the games I have for you today. Hopefully it gave you some idea of how this deck works. It's a pretty well, it's not a really straightforward deck. It takes it has a bit of a unique playstyle, I guess, of just like taking like early game slow to swing tempo really hard in the mid game. So if that's interesting to you and you like just vomiting out followers one after another to make your opponent suffer, maybe this is the deck for you. I will warn you though, this deck can be a bit high. The variance for this deck is quite high just because the difference between drawing a bunch of early game followers, the difference between drawing a bunch of these spell boost cards early game and not drawing them is quite big, so definitely watch out for that. And the two meta decks right now, Portal and Dragon, both have decent ways to clear your board, so it's not really that ideal to play this deck from that standpoint as well. But you know, if you just want to have fun with it, you can try it. Yeah, so that's it for today. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.